Ever since the beginning of Rocket League, we have seen the best of the best go at it as what is known as RLCS.
Cheat, just trying to keep this one in play. Vatira's not there.
No way, he's still up.
Zen's still up. Oh my goodness, Zen!
However, every year, we see new prodigies entering the RLCS scene. In 2018, we saw Squishy Muffins. In 2019, we've seen Justin. And throughout the years, we have seen many young prodigies enter the RLCS scene. However, there's one prodigy in specific that has completely changed the Rocket League pro scene. He goes by the name of Zen, and his RLCS debut season is one nobody should forget. This is the story of how Zen completely changed the RLCS scene forever. It all started back in 2020, where Zen technically made his RLCX debut with the team known as Space Knights, with his teammates being Seiko and Gaspo. However, the only issue that this team ran into was Zen was only 13 years old at the time, meaning he's ineligible to play because the rules state you have to be 15 years or older to compete in RLCS. And because of this, all of them got a 1-year ban. However, with Zen, things got a little complicated. You see, since you're not able to actually start competing in RLCS until you're 15, Zen's 1-year ban would actually start when he hit 15 years old, meaning from the time he was banned to the time he actually made his RLCS debut, he was technically banned for 3 years. Now, I don't know if many people know about this topic, but nobody actually knew that Zen would be banned starting when he was 15 until 11 days prior to his birthday. So this came as a surprise to many players excited to see Zen make his RLCS debut because everyone had thought that Zen's 1-year suspension had already been served. Now fast forward 3 years, Zen began to catch the eye of many players across Rocket League.
Zen does well to control the incoming shot. Another direct dribble by Zen. Oh, and a monster of a flick. Well, both players.
Many people in the community saw him sit comfortably at the top of the 2v2 leaderboard, and Zen began to become a well-known prospect in the Rocket League community. And because of how well he was doing in other tournaments against actual pro players, Team Vitality took the initiative and signed him at the beginning of the 2022-2023 season, even though he wasn't eligible. At the time, Team Vitality consisted of 3 other players, which were Alpha, Radosin, and Sizen, but the ultimate plan was for Zen to replace one of them once he became eligible for the spring split, so that no other team would be able to pick him up or him being signed to any other team. Now fast forward to February, and Zen still is not eligible to play in RLCS. But at this point in time is when Zen's hype really started to pick up. Using Johnny Boy's stream, Zen began to do show match after show match, and the community quickly realized just how crazy this kid was. Because never in history has anyone been so consistent with Rocket League's most advanced mechanics, and his 1v1 show matches is where all of those came to light. Not only was Zen beating some of the best 1v1 players in the world, but he was absolutely embarrassing them throughout his show matches, scoring in the most bizarre and unique ways possible, taking down players like apparently Jack, Lost, and even Risers. And eventually, his matches only got more difficult, going against players like Vatira and Daniel, yet nobody was able to take him down. Zen was playing a completely different game than any other pro on this planet. To think a player could be this good without even touching RLCS yet is really just unthinkable. Fasting forward to the 2022-2023 RLCS spring split, we got to witness Zen make his official RLCS debut. With Ryzen being replaced by Zen, Team Vitality consisted of Alpha, Radosin, and Zen as the starting 3 players for their spring split in RLCS. However, it is quick to note that before Zen replaced Ryzen on Team Vitality, the favorites to win were Team BDS throughout it. However, after Zen replaced Ryzen on the team roster, Vitality's odds of winning the entire tournament skyrocketed, placing them in the driver's seat and in number 1 to win the entire tournament. Team Vitality played Elevate in their first round in the upper bracket, and although the team did really well and exercised everything they did, we really got to see what Zen was made of in the RLCS scene. He looked calm, composed, and like he's done this 100 times over, and Team Vitality would would go on to dismantle Elevate in their first round in the upper bracket and have a meeting with Complexity in the upper bracket quarterfinals. This series was a back and forth boxing match with Team Vitality coming out on top with a 3-2 win over Complexity to have a powerhouse of a match in the next round in the upper bracket semifinals against Team BDS. By this time, teams now officially are on the stage in Boston, preparing themselves to play in front of a huge crowd, chanting names and rooting for their respective teams. And oh my, was this crowd loud. Zen's name rang throughout the arena, and Team Vitality were the fan favorites to take down Team BDS in the upper bracket semifinals. However, things didn't go as planned, as Team BDS completely dismantled Team Vitality, in which Zen still had a very good showing, but it just wasn't enough to help his team compete against BDS just yet. Dropping out of the upper bracket, they met Genji Mobile in the lower bracket quarterfinals, where they completely swept them, and we got to see just how good Zen really is on the stage. He looked calm, collected, and did everything just perfectly to secure his team a spot in the lower bracket semifinals against Rule 1, where they swept Rule 1 and ultimately found Carmine Corp waiting for them in the lower bracket final. In this blockbuster matchup against KC, the teams traded games, which ultimately saw them go to a Game 7, and Carmine Corp had a 2-0 lead already on Team Vitality. However, you can never count Team Vitality out, as they ultimately came back and took down Carmine Corp in the lower bracket final to have a rematch meeting in the grand finals against Team BDS.
Two teams, two countries, one ever important trophy. I am Stumpy, with the greatest honor of my life to be alongside Cole, here in Boston for one of the greatest, most monumental series we will ever see.
At this point, in order for Team Vitality to win the entire tournament, they would not only have to defeat BDS in one entire series, but they'd also have to beat them again in a bracket reset matchup. With the crowd rooting for Team Vitality because of their decision to back themselves as the USA representatives, they had one of the best showings in an RLCS grand final we have ever seen. A team consisting of Alpha, Radosin, and Zen completely dismantled Team BDS in not only the first series, but also destroying them in the second series of the grand final of the spring major in RLCS. And for the first time in the tournament, or ever we can say, we got to hear Zen speak to the crowd.
Now I think everyone in here is waiting for something special. We haven't heard from this guy all weekend long, and I was promised that if they got the victory, he would take this stage and talk to me. Now Zen, you're one of 6 LAN rookies to take home the victory, to win on this stage. How in the world did you handle those expectations throughout the entire split to get to this point?
Franchement, j'ai utilisé la pression comme une aide un peu, et genre mes coéquipiers étaient là pour moi, et le coach aussi m'a beaucoup aidé à gérer ça.
He said, I try to use the pressure as an additional help, and my teammates and my coach, myself, were there for me, and that's it.
And after seeing Zen completely dismantle teams in his first ever competitive RLCS major, we saw him win offensive MVP of the tournament and overall MVP of the tournament. His level of play is something nobody has ever seen before, and he has taken Rocket League to a completely new ceiling that nobody expected to come. What Zen has done to this team is completely unthinkable and truly amazing. Taking a team that hasn't won anything in 2 years to a team that's setting records again and dismantling every team it is going up against. Zen has truly had an RLCS debut season to remember, and nobody has been able to accomplish this in a very long time. And the question rises, can anyone ever beat a performance like that? Well, I say no.